You're listening to Lunch and Learn with your host, Myra McKnight, heard only on Hindsight Media Radio 103.5 FM, where there's always something good to talk about.
Hello, this is Myra McKnight, and welcome to your Lunch and Learn for today. You know, I was thinking about what people are doing today with their jobs and in between families and needing more money and adding an extra bit to their lives so that they can have more fulfillment and more enjoyment. And in the course of that, I thought about, you know what, we need to talk about what it takes to be an entrepreneur. And today, this is what I'm going to talk to you about, what it actually takes to be an entrepreneur today in 2019. First of all, what I want to say is I have about 25 years of corporate experience. Came out the legal field, was always in an administrative field, was always a manager. I worked my way up a lot. In everything that I did, I looked at what I was doing and I looked at how I could maximize my learning experience through the job that I was in. Not only did I realize that I could do what they were doing, not on a big scale, but I can do it on a small scale to where it takes care of me. And I've had some enjoyment experience in doing that, coming from an HR management perspective, coming from a business management perspective, coming from a coordinator, supervisor. My education brought me a lot to the table. But my drive of business really made me push just a little bit more. And so what we're going to do this in two parts. We're going to do this in two parts because I want to be able to give you the front part of it for those of you who who are working, or those of you who have not gotten into what they really want to do yet. This is just something to think about, and it's not something that you can just rush into. You do have to take your time, you have to be methodical in it, and you have to be intentional in it. So what do we want to look for? What's the first thing that actually comes to our mind when we're working and we don't like the job? First thing we say is, you know what, I'm just sick and tired of this job. You know what, it's cool, the people are cool, but you know, they're not giving me a promotion every year. I'm excited. I got to wait and I'm getting 26 cents or I'm getting 15 cents or I'm getting $1 raise. And then I have to work more just for that $1 raise for the next year. They never are going to give you the accolades of 10. It was always told as a human resource professional, the thing is this, we don't want to tell you how great you're doing. We want to make you believe that you're doing okay. You're doing enough to get by. You're doing enough to stay here. But at the end of the day, you could be doing super. But it's not up to the management today to tell you that, because what happens is this. As management, we want you to think you really need this job. We want you to think you really need to be here making this amount of money, because you know what? You could be gone in a moment's notice. And that's the mentality that a lot of times the corporations put on you. Why is it people next to you get paid more? Well, they get paid more because they want to keep that person. That's why they get paid more. You get paid less. I remember being in a job where I worked at the bank, and a lady was there, and she had been there 30 years. And I had gotten out of school, and I was working as a personal banker. And that lady made less money than I did. And that was because of the mentality that she had. And I found that out later as I continued to grow in my business, is that if you show no initiative, you show no push, you show no drive, they sometimes look at you as a body, and that you basically need to be there, and that you're going to be there. And she was there every day. So not so much as having the drive to work there, but having the drive to even want to say, I want to move. I've worked at places to where back then you put in your 2 weeks notice, and they would talk me out of it and say, you know, we don't want you to leave. We can give you this. I've turned down coordinator jobs before. If it didn't fit me, I just didn't do it just to have the job. So realize you guys are at lunch. So let's talk about something. First of all, what we want to know is, what's your why? Why do you want to be in business for yourself? Why do you want to become an entrepreneur? That is extremely important. Why? You want to make sure that it fits into the scale of you and your life. You don't want to all of a sudden say, I want to become an astronaut, so I'm going to quit my job. You got to be methodical and intentional in what you want to do. So first thing I want you to write down is, what is your why? Okay. The next thing is, I want you to understand that people talk about your passion will make room for itself, and your gift to make room for yourself, and your passion to make you money. But I don't agree with that so much, because you can do a lot of passionate things. And you can be a passionate candle maker. You can be a passionate babysitter. You can be a passionate dog walker. You know, you can have all kinds of passions, but all passions does not lead to an opportunity of being financially free, and then freedom as well, because you're taking a lot of time and you're getting paid small amounts for it. So you want to be careful of that passion mentality. People talk about that a lot. It doesn't always bring you the money that you want. You want a business. You want something that is going to make you money. Hey, we go to work to make money, right? There's nothing wrong with making money at all. But what's a blessing is this, that you're able to make your own money, and you're able to count your own dollars, and you're able to give your own self a raise. And in the interim of that, you want to always be helping somebody, the consumer. There's something called, and let me go back to that. That's number 2. Number 3, there's something called supply and demand. That's number 3. What's supply and demand? There's a demand out here for something. You can be the supplier of that something. Number 3, supply and demand. You can be the supplier of what the people want. That e-commerce, that thing that people are looking for. We're now in a great opportunity in our world today, is that there are so many things that people need, and you can find your niche in that. It's not like a needle in a haystack. It's not like that. It's out here. People tell you what they want. And you have to be creative in that. So supply and demand is very important. Let me tell you something else is important. We go back to passion. Something that I find that you must have. What is your experience? That's a big deal. What can you do? What's your experience? You know, people make money based upon what they can do. And the amount of money you make is also based upon what you can do. If you start a business and say, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm going into business for myself, and you don't have the experience of what the business that you're going into, you are setting yourself up. Let me say this, you're going to always even have your ups and downs and your falls. You're going to fall, you're going to get back up, you're going to fall, you're going to get back up, but you want to be consistent. And that is very, very important, that you be consistent. What is your experience? That's important in business. You have to know that you can't quit your job. Maybe the job you're working, you can't go and duplicate that job and make a business out of it. Maybe there's something else you can make a business out of it in there. Maybe if you're working a corporate job and you find out that they have a need for a courier and you like to drive, maybe you can do that. That's a possibility. Maybe you can say, I'll just be a contractor and I'll do the job that I'm doing on a contract basis, and I'll work for you for 6 months and then I'm off for 2 months. You can decide what you want to do, but you have to have the experience in doing that. A lot of jobs will hire you and they say, no experience necessary. Well, you know, that might not be the job that you want. No experience necessary. You want to get your own experience. You want to learn to grow, unless you're going to be an intern and you want to be an intern doing exactly what you want to do. Not an intern doing something you don't want to do. That's a waste of your time. But you do need to have the experience. And what's the next thing is, if you have a job and you are making money, then what you want to do is make sure that you do not transition out of your job until you start making money. Most of the time when we start our businesses, they don't get off the ground within the year. They don't get off the ground in the second year, first year. Sometimes they get off the ground within 3 years, but it depends on the type of job that you're doing. Now, if you are going to go into business and you're going to become a stripper, that's a totally different story, because that's a lot of supply and demand. That's immediate supply and demand right there. That's an immediate demand. So you're going to make the money. It's going to, as they say, make it rain. That's going to happen. But if you're going into a logistical business, or I tried to get my son to start a computer business, and he's like, well, Mama, that's just not me. I'm not like you. I want to go to work and I want to get a paycheck. Okay, I wasn't too happy about that. But my encouragement to him is to, if you can build computers, if this is what you do, if you can manage for the Geek Squad and you can do all these things, then you can have a business of your own. But you have to make sure that you are the type of person that's responsible to hold on to a business or responsible to have one. That is an extremely, extremely important. If you're going to go out in this business venture, you don't want to quit your job. You don't want to stop making the money that you're making until you come to a point where you can actually replace the income that you have, at least replace it or add to it, one or the other. And that's an important thing. You want to talk it over with your partner, with your spouse, or with your family. But let me caution you, make sure that you're talking to someone who actually understands business, who actually want to help you push and navigate and support you into your business venture. You don't want to have that conversation with people who are negative about business. Those people who believe that you should be in a job for 40 years. And you know what? Honestly, jobs won't hold you 40 years today. The average job that people stay on are going to be anywhere from 3 to 6 years. And that's the millennial age right there. Those that are older might stay on it up under 10 years, depending on where they are in age. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you know exactly what you want to do and that you've talked to someone about that. That is very important. Who do you talk to? Again, you want to talk it up with your partner, your spouse, your family, or someone that can actually help you and that's business-minded as well. You want to get the pros and the cons. You just don't want to get the pros and you just don't want to get the cons. You want to get the pros and the cons of becoming an entrepreneur and being in business, becoming an entrepreneur and being in business. Next, you want to get a coach. You want to get a business coach. You want to read a book. Try to read a book once a week. You don't have to get a 400-page book, but try to find something relating to business or get a business magazine or something to keep you involved and engaged in what the business jargon, the entrepreneurship lifestyle. That's extremely important. Look up on YouTube. If you don't have the money for a business coach, look on YouTube. There are some amazing people on YouTube that can help you navigate your life in many, many, many ways. But you have to become a student of self. That's important. You have to be, you don't have to go and get degrees and things of that nature. Of course, spend money on college and business degrees and certifications. And of course, I found out later, it's not necessary unless it's necessary based upon the job that you're looking for. But if you're going into business for yourself, what's necessary is honing in on the skills that you need to be that business person that you want to be. Okay. When you're reading a book, look it up on YouTube, looking for those persons to give you advice, check out, there's something called mentor.org. There is an organization that helps new people that want to go into business. They help you start the foundation of what you need to get your business where it needs to be. They kind of hold your hand. They meet with you on a weekly basis. And these are people all over the country that are there to help you start the business that you want to start. And they tell you the ups and downs of it. And then but you have to already have done your homework to see that that makes sense for you to do that. These are amazing people. I've used them before at some point because you always want to choose somebody that's higher than you. You don't know everything, you never will, but you always want to check in with somebody that has created a business for some time that can kind of say, okay, Myra, you're on the right track. Okay, Myra, you need to do this or you need to do that. Next thing is I want you to be prepared to kind of tweak your business ideas. They say that you need to get a business plan or complete a business plan. That business plan doesn't have to be formal unless you're going to get a bank loan or something of that nature. Most of us that start out in business owners don't do that. I have about 6 businesses up under me, and I haven't had to go get a bank loan, and those businesses didn't require a bank loan, but I had my own business plan jotted down of what I wanted it to look like and what I wanted to do. And be it be on a formal letterhead or things of that nature, that's not really necessary. Basically, you can have your plan in your computer where you're deciding, this is what I want. And let me say this, you are going to tweak that. You will tweak that. My husband and I were in Payless over the weekend, and some of the stores, Payless is closing all their stores. They're going out of business. And Payless had, and I shopped Payless forever for, my husband and I shopped it for my son, shopped it for myself. Payless had shoes in there, and they put the tags on there as if that you were getting a bargain on the shoes. Well, they put the shoes for $29, $30, and then they put it down to you were getting a certain percentage off of like $22 or $24. That's crazy because Payless shoes have never been $30, ever, ever, ever. They marked them up so it can appear to you that you're getting a bargain, but you're not. Payless is charging the same amount on those shoes as you would charge if they weren't going out of business. This is a company trying to get all their money, but you understand that from a business perspective. So I said that to say to you that what you can do, the wonderful thing about being in business is that you can be flexible and you can raise your prices as you need to, and you can lower your prices as you need to. You have to decide what you want to do and what it takes for you to live your life in your household. One of the businesses that we have, my husband has, and it's through some financing. And so for corporations and for those who are in the film industry. And so I would say to him, people will call and they want to take your time, but your time is important. And if you're in business, you don't have a lot of time just to give time free. You need to find a way to get a introductory amount from a particular client. You can give a post call of 15 minutes or something of that nature. You need to charge some type of administrative fees. You're going to have to learn what you need to attach to what so that you can make something. You don't want to be out here giving everything free, even though you know it, even though you have the passion, even though you have the drive, and even though you have the experience. You have to get something, even if it's a $20 application fee, even if it's a $20 consultation fee. You have to get something. You want to give back to the community that you are in. You want to give back to those people that are coming into you. So making sure that you're building your foundation is what we're talking about today when it comes to being in business and becoming an entrepreneur. It's not just like there's a guy that has a sock business here in Atlanta. He started his sock business and socks, SOCKS, out of his car. And now he has a very, very nice front storefront where he just sells socks. And you would not think that that would make people a living, but it does. People are selling T-shirts. They started them out of their home. And now they have a storefront. So you have to set the foundation, but you have to know your why. You definitely have to know why you're doing this, why you want to do this. It's not for the glitz and the glamour. You want to make sure that you are not just going into a passion just to be passionate about it and you don't make any money. That doesn't help you. You want to make sure that you got some experience, either in sales, customer service, definitely in how you handle your money. And you can find what you need when it comes to the marketing part. Most people that go into business does not have the marketing part down pat, but you'll be able to find that as you go and as you continue to build your platform. I know this is a lunch and learn, and I'm going to close this out for today. And tomorrow we'll do the second phase of this. We're going to do a recap here, and then we'll do a second phase on tomorrow about going into entrepreneurship and becoming a business person. This is a delicate act, but you know what? You can do it. This is Myra McKnight, and I want you to have an amazing day. Enjoy the rest of your day, and then we will check in on tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to Lunch and Learn with Myra McKnight, heard only on Hindsight Media Radio, 103.5 FM, where there's always something good to talk about.